All right, so before we begin, I just want to explain the rules again. There will be no cursing, yelling, interrupting each other, arguing, anything like that. If you feel like you need to take a break, we can certainly do that. Just let me know. We might need to do a caucus as well, which is where I pull one of you aside and talk to you each separately if I feel like things are getting kind of heated. What I do with one party, I will do with the other. And like I said earlier, these caucuses are confidential. And the last thing is I just want to double check. I know I talked to you earlier, neither one of you had obtained a lawyer. Is that still the case?
Yeah, no lawyer.
I don't have a lawyer. Okay. All right, perfect. So before we begin, I just want to reiterate how important it is that you're able to give your statement and speak your mind without the other person interrupting each other. Okay, I know it's difficult if you have something you need to say or you're disagreeing with someone. Just write it down. That's why you have your pieces of paper and your pens. If you want to write something down in case you're going to forget, go ahead. If you need to take a break for any reason, if you need to get up and use the restroom, if you need to get a drink of water, please let me know. We can certainly do that too. Okay? All right. The last housekeeping item is if you want the solution to be binding. And what that is if you want it to be enforceable in a court of law.
Could we wait until after the agreement to decide?
Yeah, we can certainly wait if that's okay with you.
That's okay.
We can wait and see how the mediation goes and go from there.
Okay.
Okay, I will bring it up again afterwards. So, Michelle, since you brought the dispute to mediation today, why don't you begin? But before you begin, if you could speak your first statement to me, and Jesse, when you give me your first initial statement, that way you can communicate to me first before we introduce communication between the two of you. Okay? All right, Michelle, go ahead and begin.
Okay, my main problem that I've been having with Jessie is my garbage cans. She keeps sticking her garbage into my cans.
Okay.
So there's been several times I've gone out to dump my garbage and I can't even fit my own garbage in my can because she's used it with her own garbage.
Okay.
She regularly has parties at her house and I constantly have party garbage in my can.
Okay.
Another thing about the garbage is she just puts loose garbage in my can. It's not bagged up, so then when the garbage men come to pick up my garbage can, it gets garbage all over the street. It blows in my yard, blows into the neighbor's yard, so I'm out there on Monday mornings picking up her trash out of the yard. And then to top it all off, last month she had put so much stuff in my can that I got an extra bill from the garbage company for $50 because my garbage can weighed so much.
Okay. Is there anything else that you wanted to add?
That's about it with the garbage.
Okay.
My other problem with Jessie is her dog.
Okay.
It's basically every day I walk out into my front yard and there's dog poop in my yard. I had a feeling it was her and her dog, so I stayed up late one night to see whose dog was pooping in my yard, and it was her.
Okay.
She never cleans it up. I've stepped in it. It's smelly. Now that it's summertime, it's smelling really bad out there, so I can't really even enjoy my front yard. And I spend a lot of money on landscaping, and now her dog, because it's peeing in my yard, it burns yellow holes into my lawn that just stay there. I can't get rid of them.
Okay.
So those are my two main issues.
Okay. Jesse, do you want to go ahead and give your initial statement?
Yeah. Well, I didn't think it was a big deal. Her trash cans aren't even filled when I load them up, and they aren't even full, and the trash is supposed to be picked up the next day, so there's extra room for me to put in trash.
Okay.
If we were talking about trash cans, she rolls them out into the street in the middle of the night, and I wake up for work really early in the morning, and I'm startled by the loud rustling outside, and it literally sounds like thunder, so it wakes me up every time.
Okay.
And second, yeah, my dog may go to the bathroom on your lawn, but your cat comes into my yard and shits everywhere.
Okay. Let me just stop us right there. I know it's probably very frustrating. Just try to keep the language out. No curse words here. It could be offensive. So if we all let this be as a warning to you and to you too for the future. No curse words. That's our number one rule here, okay?
Okay.
Okay. All right, Jesse, go ahead and continue.
Sorry. Anyways, not only that, I'm especially allergic to cats, and her cat comes into my backyard and lays on my furniture. So I can't even sit on my furniture anymore because it's covered in cat hair. And then last month, I had to go to the emergency room because I got an allergic reaction from her cat from sitting on my lawn chair outside. And the emergency room bill ended up being $350.
Okay, all right. Okay, Jesse, was that it for your initial statement?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Now that I've heard both of your initial statements, I'm going to work on writing down your requests for the conflict. So Michelle, I'll start with you. I heard two different requests. The first one about Jesse using your trash cans.
Yes.
And you mentioned something about a $50 fee.
Yes.
Okay, $50 fee. She overfills the trash cans. There's loose garbage she mentioned.
Yeah, it's never bagged up.
Okay, loose garbage. Did you say something about smelly garbage, or was that the dog issue?
Well, always her garbage smells, but that was more of the pee and poop in the yard.
Okay. And then the second issue you had was the dog in the yard. So we'll do dog in the yard. And did you mention something about being frustrated you had to clean it up?
Yeah, well, first I stepped in it, so then I had to clean my shoes, but then I have to pick it up also. And I don't even have a dog, so I don't feel like I need to be picking up dog poop.
Okay, cleaning issues. And then you also mentioned something about the lawn becoming yellow.
Yes. So the dog pees on the lawn and it creates a yellow circle, and then it kills the grass.
Okay.
So now I have spots all in my grass.
Okay, kills the grass. Okay, was there anything else we needed to add?
No, I think that's the main problems.
And then Jesse, it seems like your main issue was with Michelle's cat. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so the cat comes and lays on your furniture?
Yeah.
This is your backyard patio furniture?
Yes, my backyard patio.
You said you were allergic. Okay, so can you use your furniture anymore?
No, it definitely need to be cleaned.
Okay, backyard furniture. And then can you just talk a little bit more about your hospital bill? You said it was $350.
Yeah, I had hives, so they had to give me some medicine for that, and then I also had to get 3 breathing treatments because my windpipe swelled up.
And was this a couple weeks ago?
Yes.
Okay, hives, breathing treatments. Okay, so that's really your main issue that you have with Michelle.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so what we're going to do next, since I have written down, detailed out everything about your issues, if we can come up with some solutions. So we're going to brainstorm anything and everything you can think of. I'll write it down, even if it seems silly or too complex or not something you guys would even think about. Whatever comes to your mind, I'll go ahead and write it down. So why don't we start with the issue with the trash cans? If we have some solutions, how do we think we can resolve this issue?
Well, I think the main solution is she should get a bigger can so she can hold all of her own garbage.
So bigger can. Okay.
Maybe I could ask her to use it first if I see that it's not filled all
Okay.
the way.
Ask to use. Okay.
I think if she does end up using it, at least bag up your trash so it's not loose and flying all over the street. Especially on windy days, it causes a huge mess.
It's understandable. Bag up the trash. Okay, is there anything else we can think of?
I don't know, maybe her trash can wouldn't be so full if she did recycling and didn't put as much bottles and paper and stuff. Then she'd have more room for her real garbage.
Recycling.
I also feel maybe she should pay the $50 that I had to pay to the garbage company. I don't think it's fair that I should have to pay that.
Okay, pay $50. Okay. So we have a bigger can, maybe ask to use it first. If you're gonna use it, bag it up so it doesn't create a mess. maybe start some recycling and pay the $50 that you had to pay for the heaviness of the garbage. That sounds like a good list to me. Is there anything else either one of you wanted to add?
That's all I could think of.
Okay. All right, so the second problem we have is the dog in the yard. You mentioned you have a yellow lawn, it's been killing the grass, and you've had issues with having to clean it, and you don't have a dog, so that has frustrated you. So can we work together on maybe coming up with some options on how to resolve this?
Well, I think one, she shouldn't let her dog come into my yard.
Okay.
If he is going to come do his business in my yard, she should get bags and clean up after her dog.
Okay.
She could maybe put a fence around her yard so other animals can't use the restroom on her yard.
Put up a fence. All right. Okay.
I've heard of a thing, it's like sprinklers, and if an animal comes into my yard, the sprinklers will go on and scare the animal away. So maybe
Okay.
she should pay for some sprinklers for me.
Would
Like
those be like a
motions-
motion sensor
Motion
pictures?
sensor sprinklers.
Motion sprinklers.
There's also an electrical fence I've heard of. So maybe she'd want to go in halves with me, and it's like a border up around the lawn.
Okay.
So if her dog were to cross that border, it kind of shocks the dog.
Those are kind of used too to keep dogs inside the lawn too, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So fence, electric fence, motion sprinklers. Jesse, do you have any other suggestions maybe?
Either I could fix the grass or have someone come fix it for her.
Okay, fixed grass. Okay. All right. So on our list we have don't let the dog come on the lawn. If you do let it on the lawn, clean it up. You suggested maybe putting a fence or an electric fence, motion sprinklers, and fixing the grass. So the last issue we talked about was the cat, Michelle's cat, coming in the backyard. The main issues were your backyard furniture, you can't even sit on them anymore, and your hospital bill
Yes.
of $350. Okay, so why don't we brainstorm some ideas on how we can fix this issue?
Well, she could get rid of the cat.
That's not going to happen.
Okay, get rid of cat. Like I said, I'll add it to the list, then we can get rid of it later.
Yeah, we're not getting rid of my cat,
Okay.
just so you know.
Do you have any suggestions?
She could just maybe start taking some allergy pills if she has such an issue.
Allergy medication.
And I can't believe maybe it's somebody else's cat going into her yard.
Well, I've seen that it was your cat, so.
Okay. All right, Jesse, do you have any suggestions?
She could put spikes on the top of our fence that separates our yard so her cat wouldn't be able to
Okay.
jump over.
Fence. Okay. Anything else we can think of? We have get rid of the cat, take some allergy medication, and put spikes on the fence.
How about, I'd probably be willing to go over and clean her furniture, maybe vacuum all the cat hair and stuff off of her furniture.
Clean furniture. Okay.
I can try keeping my cat inside. I've never done it before,
Okay.
so I don't know how it will go, but I'd be willing to give it a try.
Okay, keep cat inside. Jesse, any other suggestions that we have?
I can't think of anything else.
Okay. What about your hospital bill that you mentioned?
Yeah, that would be great if she could pay for that.
Okay. You said it was $350
Correct.
hospital bill?
Mm-hmm.
Hospital bill. Okay. So it looks like we have some pretty good lists here. Now that we've kind of brainstormed a little bit, why don't we go through each one and see if we can find a solution? Are we prepared to do that?
Yes.
Okay. So the first issue is with the trash cans. We have use a bigger can, maybe ask to use it, bag up the trash, recycle, and pay the $50 that you had to pay the garbage company. Jesse, since this issue is regarding you using Michelle's cans, what do you think sounds like a reasonable solution to you?
Well, I don't want to have to pay for a bigger can, so I'm willing to pay the $50 for the fee that she got charged, and then I could try the recycling and maybe ask her to use the can before.
Okay. Okay, so the bigger can is out. You are willing to pay the $50 and try recycling, and if you need to, maybe ask to use it before.
Yes.
Okay. Michelle, does this sound like a reasonable solution to you?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we have maybe ask to use it in the future if you need to, recycling, which was a good idea, and pay the $50. So the next thing I want to ask is, when would you think you would be able to pay this $50?
I could get it to her by the end of the week.
Okay, so by the end of the week. And is cash okay?
Yeah, I can give cash.
Okay. And you guys are neighbors, so would you be able to do that in person, or if she's not there, maybe put it in the mailbox?
Yeah, I'll just drop it in her mailbox.
Okay, mailbox. Perfect. Okay, the second issue we had was the dog in the yard. So we had some good options here. Don't let the dog come on the lawn. Clean up the dog if your dog does go on the lawn. A fence, an electric fence, motion sprinklers, and fixing the grass. So Michelle, since this issue is regarding your lawn, what do you think would be a reasonable solution?
I mean, for sure, she just needs. I know dogs need to do their business, so just clean up after her dog.
Okay.
But I'd really appreciate if she would pay. Either she fixes or gets somebody to fix the spots in my grass.
Okay. Jesse, what do you think?
That sounds reasonable to me. I have a landscaper that would probably be able to fix the grass.
Okay. So we both agree that maybe you, if your dog does go on the lawn, clean it up. I know sometimes I see people have little stands with bags attached to them if you happen to run out of a bag, or you're right next door, so if you don't have one, you can always go back. But fixing the grass is definitely reasonable. You said you know a landscaper that you think would be able to do it.
Yeah,
Okay, what do you think is a reasonable time frame to get that done?
maybe a few weeks.
Okay, what about 2 weeks? Does that sound like you might be able to get that done?
Yeah.
That sounds good to me.
Okay, 2 weeks from today. Does that work?
Yes.
Okay. And then Jesse, you agree to find a landscaper of your choice. You said you have one in mind.
Yes.
Michelle, would that be okay for you?
Yes.
Okay, landscaper of her choice. To be done in 2 weeks to fix the yellow spots on the lawn.
Okay.
Okay. Does that
Okay.
sound good?
Yes.
All right, and the final issue is the one with the cat. So our solutions we have here are get rid of the cat.
I'm not getting rid of the cat.
Okay, so that's not a solution. We'll cross that one out. Allergy medication, putting spikes on the fence, cleaning the furniture, maybe trying the cat inside, and the $350 hospital bill. What do you guys think would be the best solution that works for both of you?
Well, I definitely like my bill paid for.
Okay. So is that
And-
pretty important to you?
Yes, that's
Okay.
the most important.
Okay.
And just no more cat in the backyard. So whatever you have to do to make sure your cat doesn't come back there.
Okay. Well, I will definitely try keeping her in the house, and just not let her out anymore, and hopefully that solves the problem.
Okay. All right, so keep the cat inside, even though you haven't done it before, but you're willing to give that a try. And the $350 hospital bill. Would you be willing to pay that, or?
Yes, I can pay it. I just can't pay it all at once.
Okay, not all at once. What about if we break it up into 2 increments? Would that maybe work a little bit better?
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay, Jesse, what do you think? Would that be okay?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay, so we have 2 increments. If we divide it in half, that would be $175 twice.
Okay.
Does that sound more reasonable?
Yes.
Okay. How long do you think you would need to pay this?
I could probably give her one payment at the beginning of the month, and then the next month the second
Okay,
payment.
so once a month.
Yes.
Jesse, does this sound reasonable to you?
Yes.
Okay, once a month for the next 2 months. And how would you like this bill to be paid? Would cash work?
I can pay
Okay,
in cash.
cash. Okay. And I know Jesse was going to bring you $50 for the trash cans. Are you able to just walk over the money to her or to her mailbox?
Yes, I'll give it to her.
Okay. person. Well, great. It sounds like we've reached an agreement. So I know we talked about maybe making this binding or not binding. Like I said earlier, if it's binding, it's enforceable in court. So if someone decides they aren't going to pay, then we can take the conflict to court and it's actually able to be enforced and it's not just a verbal agreement.
Okay.
So how do you guys feel about that?
You can make it binding.
Okay.
I would like it to be binding
Okay.
as well.
Okay. Binding. Perfect. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to type up my notes into the mediation agreement form. While I'm doing that, if you guys wouldn't mind filling out an evaluation on me.
Okay.
So what it is, just to let me know how I did, what you thought went well, what you thought didn't went well. And while I'm typing that up, if you guys will just fill these out for me, that would be great. And I will be back in 1 minute.
Okay.
Okay. All right, if you guys haven't finished those, you can work on them after. So I have the agreement in front of me. What I'm going to do is read it word for word so you guys understand exactly everything on it. Make sure it's what we agreed to, I didn't miss something. And then I will have you sign it, both of you, and I'll sign it. And we'll each sign a copy for ourselves. That way everyone has an original copy.
Okay.
So the agreement date is June 11th, 2017. This agreement is entered into voluntarily by Jesse Smith and Michelle Taylor. The parties agree that all parties, that everything said and everything written, except for paragraph 2 below, during this mediation will remain confidential, and that no party will subpoena any staff person or mediator in regard to this case for any purpose if there is a future legal proceeding. Number 2, all parties agree they intend that this agreement will be binding and enforceable at law and or admissible as evidence in any judicial or administrative proceeding. So I'm going to circle yes because that's what we agreed on. And for the agreement, Jessie agrees to hire a landscaper of her choice and at her expense to fix Michelle's damaged front lawn. Jessie agrees to have this completed 2 weeks from today's date, which would be June 25th, 2017. Okay. Michelle agrees to pay for Jessie's hospital bill regarding the allergic reaction to her cat. This bill is $350. Michelle will pay this bill in 2 increments at $175. The increments will be paid once a month on the first of each month. So that's July 1st, 2017 and August 1st, 2017. Jessie agrees to pay Michelle $50 for the extra fee for heavy garbage. This payment will be made in cash and will be paid to Michelle by June 18th, 2017. Lastly, Michelle agrees to keep her cat inside to prevent the cat from going over into Jessie's backyard. Okay. All above payments will be made in person or dropped in the appropriate mailbox. Okay, so I will sign this. I will give each of you a copy to sign. So if you guys just want to sign those. So now that we're completed, I just want to thank both of you for choosing my mediation service and congratulations on having a successful mediation. I will be following up with you. Here, I'll take those. I will be following up with both of you in about 30 days just to make sure your agreement's going okay, there's no other issues. If there's any questions, you can feel free to contact me before then, but I will be contacting you in about a month just to make sure everything's going okay. All right, do we have any questions?
I don't think
All right, then I think we're good to go. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. All right, I'm glad we could come to an agreement today.